In the next 12 minutes, you are going to discover a truth about yourself that your school, your peers, and probably even your family completely missed. We're stripping away the fake mask of intellectualism to see if you possess the raw, unfakeable brain power of the elite 1%. By the end of this video, you won't just understand yourself. You'll have a psychological X-ray of everyone around you. Do you have the hidden edge? Let's find out. Intelligence is the world's most misunderstood currency. Most people think it's about high GPA scores, memorizing trivia, or winning a loud argument. But in the realm of deep psychology, those are just surface-level decorations. Real intelligence doesn't scream, it observes. It's subtle, and most importantly, it is impossible to mimic. While the rest of the world is exhausted trying to look smart, a tiny fraction of the population operates on a completely different cognitive frequency. Today, we're moving past the cliches. We are deconstructing the 12 raw psychological markers and clinical studies that separate the truly brilliant from the merely loud. If you find yourself checking these boxes, your mind is significantly more powerful than you've been led to believe. These are the 12 genuine signs of intelligence that no one can fake. Sign 1. The Dunning-Kruger. Self-awareness is a paradox. Intelligent people often feel like they don't know enough. In psychology, this is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. A famous study by Cornell University psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger found that incompetent people overestimate their abilities, while highly intelligent individuals tend to underestimate theirs. The real-world example: think about a meeting at work. The loudest person in the room often has the simplest solutions, believing they've solved it all. But the smartest person is the one sitting back, realizing how many variables they don't yet understand. They aren't being shy, they are being accurate. If you are constantly aware of the limits of your own knowledge, it's not a lack of confidence, it's a high IQ marker of intellectual honesty. Sign 2. Connecting the unrelated. Abstract reasoning is the ability to connect dots that others don't even see. Highly intelligent minds excel at abstract reasoning. They don't see things in isolation. They see patterns across different industries, cultures, and timelines. The scientific base, a study published in the journal Intelligence, suggests that high IQ individuals have stronger functional connectivity between distant parts of the brain. Example: while an average person sees a falling apple as a snack, an intelligent mind like Newton's sees it as a clue to how planets move in space. If you are the person who says, "This situation reminds me of that scene in a 1950s movie," or "This business problem is exactly like a biological cell structure," you are displaying synthesized intelligence. You are seeing the hidden architecture of the world. Sign 3. Metacognitive thinking. Thinking about thinking is perhaps the rarest of all. Metacognition. This is the ability to stand outside your own mind and observe your thoughts like a scientist observing a lab rat. According to research from University College London, people with high metacognitive ability have more gray matter in the anterior prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for self-awareness. The real-world example: when you get angry or make a mistake, do you just react? Or do you ask yourself, why did I feel that impulse? What triggered that bias in my judgment? Intelligent people don't just think, they analyze how they think. If you spend time auditing your own decisions and questioning your own biases, you aren't overthinking. You are operating with a high-level cognitive operating system. Sign 4. High adaptability, the Darwinian intelligence. You are a social and mental chameleon. Many psychologists believe that intelligence is essentially the ability to adapt. A famous Harvard University study on cognitive flexibility shows that the most successful and intelligent individuals are those who can shift their strategy when the environment changes. The real-world example: imagine you lose your job or your business fails. A person with average intelligence might spend months complaining or trying the same old methods, but a highly intelligent person observes the new reality, discards their old ego, and learns a completely new skill within weeks. They don't fight the tide, they learn to sail with it. If you can stay calm in chaos and pivot your life while others are still mourning the past, you possess the highest form of biological intelligence. Sign 5. The loners by choice phenomenon is your social circle, or the lack of it. While the world celebrates social butterflies, psychology suggests that highly intelligent people actually thrive in solitude. A landmark study published in the British Journal of Psychology found that for most people, happiness increases with more social interaction. But for highly intelligent individuals, the effect is reversed. They actually feel less satisfied the more they socialize. The real-world example: it's not that intelligent people hate others. It's that their goals and thoughts are so complex that small talk feels like a waste of mental energy. If you find more peace in a quiet room with a book or a project than you do at a loud party, don't call yourself antisocial. Call yourself selective. Your brain is designed for deep work, not surface-level noise. Sign 6. Insatiable curiosity, the hungry mind. You are a perpetual why machine. Intelligent people don't just accept the world as it is. They want to know how the gears turn. According to research from Goldsmiths University of London, curiosity is just as important as IQ when it comes to academic and professional success. They call it the cognitive hunger. The real-world example: think about your search history. Is it filled with random questions like, how does a black hole work? Or, why did that ancient empire collapse? At 3 a.m., average people are satisfied with what is happening. Intelligent people are obsessed with how and why. If you feel an itch in your brain when you don't understand a concept, you have the hallmark of a high IQ explorer. Sign 7. Comfort with ambiguity, the gray zone. You don't need black and white answers. Most people crave certainty. They want a clear hero and a clear villain. But an intelligent mind understands that the world is painted in shades of gray. A study from the University of Toronto suggests that people with higher cognitive abilities have a much higher tolerance for ambiguity. The real-world example: when a complex social or political issue arises, the average person takes a side immediately and starts shouting, but the intelligent person says, "It depends." They can see 3 different perspectives at once without losing their mind. If you are comfortable not having an immediate answer and can sit with the complexity of a situation, you are displaying high-level cognitive maturity. Sign 8. The dark humor connection. Might surprise you, your sense of humor, specifically your appreciation for dark humor. A study conducted by University of Vienna researchers discovered a strong link between high intelligence and the appreciation of dark, twisted, or complex jokes. They found that processing these jokes requires both high verbal intelligence and a high level of emotional regulation. The real-world example: if you find humor in situations that others find too heavy or grim, it's not because you are a bad person. It's because your brain is fast enough to decode the irony and the layers within the tragedy. It takes a sophisticated brain to find the comedy in the chaos. If you've ever laughed at a joke that made others uncomfortable because it was too deep, you're likely operating on a higher intellectual frequency. Sign 9. The mastery of delayed gratification is your relationship with time. Most of the world is trapped in the now. They want the snack, the scroll, and the pleasure immediately. But a hallmark of high intelligence is the ability to wait. The famous Stanford marshmallow experiment proved that children who could delay their gratification for a better reward later grew up to have higher SAT scores and better cognitive health. The real-world example: if you are someone who can grind in silence for a goal that is 2 years away, while everyone else is partying today, you have an elite brain. You aren't just disciplined. Your brain is literally wired to prioritize future survival over temporary dopamine. That is the ultimate evolutionary advantage. Sign 10. Intellectual self-skepticism. You are your own harshest critic. Intelligent people don't just have opinions. They constantly stress test them. There is a psychological concept called intellectual humility, and research from Pepperdine University shows that people who are willing to admit they might be wrong are actually better at learning and processing complex information. The real-world example: an average person gets offended when their beliefs are challenged. An intelligent person gets excited. They think, if I'm wrong, I get to learn something new. If you find yourself frequently saying, "I used to think this, but I've changed my mind after seeing new evidence," you are displaying a level of intelligence that most people are too insecure to ever achieve. Sign 11. High emotional sensitivity, EQ, is often overlooked. You are a human lie detector. True intelligence isn't just about math, it's about people. According to the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, the ability to read micro-expressions and understand the unspoken energy in a room is a high-level cognitive skill. The real-world example: have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt that something was off, even though everyone was smiling? That is your brain processing thousands of tiny data points, tone, body language, and eye contact simultaneously. You don't just hear words, you hear intentions. This empathic intelligence is something no AI or simple mind can ever truly mimic. Sign 12. Night owl tendencies, your sleep schedule. While early birds get the praise, science suggests that night owls might have the intellectual edge. A study by the London School of Economics analyzed the sleeping habits of thousands of young adults and found that those with higher IQs were more likely to stay up late and wake up late, both on weekdays and weekends. The real-world example: the theory is that in our evolutionary past, staying up late was a novel behavior that required more mental stimulation. If you find your brain waking up and becoming creative when the rest of the world is asleep, it's not a bad habit. It's an ancient sign of a brain that thrives in the quiet, creative hours of the night. The conclusion: your mind is your weapon. Intelligence isn't a score on a paper. It's not a degree on a wall. It is the way you perceive the world, the way you doubt yourself, and the way you adapt when everything falls apart. If you recognize yourself in these 12 signs, stop trying to fit into the normal boxes. You weren't designed for them. You possess a rare operating system. It might feel lonely sometimes, and it might feel like you're too much for others. But remember, the people who change the world are always the ones who see it differently. Don't hide your brilliance to make others feel comfortable. If this video felt like it was talking directly to you, it's because it was. You've just discovered the blueprint of your own mind. Now, the question is, what are you going to build with it? If you're ready to master your psychology and join the elite thinkers, hit that subscribe button. Your evolution is just beginning. I'll see you in the next one.